Hello and welcome to the January 2021 episode of Ham Radio Q&A live stream. I'm Michael, KB9VBR.
And I'm Joe, KD9CGX.
And thanks for joining us this evening. Here in northern Wisconsin, it's a beautiful, balmy 28 degrees outside. We've had so far, 2021 has been gorgeous weather-wise. I can't believe it. Usually we've
had six. I'm sorry, I have a delay in my ear, so it's terrible. But we've had 6 dense fog advisories in 7 days. So don't say it's been beautiful. It's been dreary.
The sun came out today, which was nice, but
for about 45 minutes.
For about 45 minutes, yeah. I take the warm weather over the cold stuff any day. So.
Yes, but then I read this afternoon that the Arctic vortex is coming.
No, we don't need that. Well, we're going to get it eventually. So people are starting to file in. We'll kind of greet a few familiar faces here. And I see Dylan, and yeah, he's been here before, so hello. And of course, Marty, glad to see you. Yeah, you hit everything. You're on like 24/7. Yeah. Daniel, good evening to you. So they're starting to file in a little bit. Got a good show lined up today. It's going to talk about a few things, including our New Year's resolutions. We'll get to that in a little bit. I'm sure we've got some choice words to say about what the FCC is doing and upcoming projects. Of course, Winter Field Day. So we'll get to all of that. But we'll kind of let people sort of gather around the campfire here, I guess. And
we're not going to talk about the secrets of Winter Field Day.
The secrets of Winter Field Day?
We can't talk about the secrets.
Oh, well, once you say what happens in what happens in Winter Field Day stays at Winter Field Day, or is once you talk about Winter Field Day,
it's all
our first rule of Winter Field Day is you don't talk about Winter Field Day. So
exactly. The second rule is you don't talk about Winter Field Day. Third rule, if this is your first Winter Field Day, you have to operate. I'm going to write that up.
There we go.
The rules of Fight Club apply to Winter Field Day.
That could make for an interesting Winter Field Day. So.
It's probably not going to be safe for work.
Max is saying, I'd rather be cold than hot. You can always put more clothes on, but you can only take so many off. So
I don't know. Have you done regular field day with Michael?
Oh, we won't go there. We won't
Parks
go there.
on the Air got a little risque at night.
Parks on the Air after dark. So, or is it Field Day after dark? We'll save that for a future live stream for our Field Day war stories.
It's not going to be on YouTube.
That might be a Patreon bonus.
Oh. People will pay you not to do it.
There we go. All right. Drinking tonight, the Three Sheeps Cashmere Hammer. It's a nitro stout. I'm really doing it a disservice by drinking it out of the bottle, but it kind of helps me keep spillage down to a minimum if I hit the thing in front of my radio.
Okay, and local brew, Point Brewery, Snow Pilot.
Oh, hey, pistachio nut brown ale. That's good. That's good stuff.
Point beer was good enough for Cheap Trick. It's good enough for me.
There we go. We'll see in the chat if anybody what everybody else is imbibing in, but I haven't seen anything there yet. So, good deal. So, well, as people continue to gather, we can talk a little bit about live stream. Just a few updates, what's been happening around here, there, and everything else. So, kind of. Shack's a real big mess right now because, of course, the Christmas decorations are out, so the boxes are in a big pile in the middle of the floor here. So, but hopefully in another week we'll get those put away, and I'm going to try to do a little bit of redecorating here over the winter. That might be one of winter project, slowly cleaning things up and see if we can get some new camera angles in. Like to kind of mix things up a little bit variety-wise. So
I hear you. If I do a cleanup of the shack, it's going to require a dumpster, like a 10-yard dumpster. It's insane down here.
Oh.
And then my family. So I'm married. I have 2 daughters. One's 18, one's 11, and it's like a constant parade of laundry.
Oh, sure.
I can get away with doing 2 loads a week. You know, my work clothes, which obviously I don't wear them outside of the house other than work. Then I wear the same blue jeans for a week. So, like, what's the deal? Like, my one daughter's got to do like 5 wardrobe changes in a day.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
It's insane. I give up.
Well,
so I told them they have to do laundry, but don't do it while I'm doing, because the washer machine's right over there.
Yep.
Like, so you can't do it tonight, but you have to do laundry.
Well, when my son is home, it's like we go through towels like I don't know, it's the YMCA or something down here. So
I can get away with 1 towel a week. Hang it back up. You know, if I got something special, I'll put a fresh towel on.
3 a day. So
3 a day times 3. Dad, we're out of towels. I wonder why.
Let's see. People are drinking. We've got some Sonic tea and fresh coffee. Coffee's good. I can't drink coffee after noon. It's otherwise I'll be up all night, especially
I can't drink coffee. So. You think I'm wired now? Give me a cup of coffee.
Tea and coffee. So this is a special treat for. I don't drink during the week. You know, that's like a Friday, Saturday kind of thing. So it's this is kind of a treat to have a beer on a Thursday.
Or 2. Doesn't.
All right. Well, to kind of get into the questions here, Nick asks, would one of your J-poles do okay in the attic? And I got a lot of customers that use their J-pole antennas in the attic. It's a couple things to consider. Number one is the antenna is about 69 inches tall from tip to tail. So if you can stand up in your attic, you can pretty much put the antenna up there. Should work very well. If you've got a metal roof or a metallicized vapor barrier, I'd probably not recommend an attic install, because those are 2 things that can couple with the antenna, or they're really going to decrease your performance. So that's sort of the downside of an attic. But otherwise, it's a good place. If you put it in the attic, you don't have to worry about lightning protection at all, because you'll be covered by the house system. So if you were thinking of like a backup antenna or a spare antenna or something if you wanted to take everything offline, and then during, say, like a severe weather net, you wanted to have a backup antenna, the attic antenna would be perfect for that.
It would, definitely.
Yeah. So let's see. Here we go. Steve asks, is it difficult to connect a straight key? I'm new to ham and new to CW.
Oh, that's like the easiest thing ever.
Yeah. In fact, I got one on the bench because this is my winter project. Is I want to reacquaint myself with the Morse code. So it's just some. I'm not going to say a simple straight key, but most of them have just a 1/4-inch plug on them. And your transceiver all transceivers will have a plug in the back for the 1/4-inch plug. And you may have to check your user manual for what the tip and the ring assignment is for. So if you need to put a plug on your key, so a little bit of soldering might be involved. So check your manual there to see which is, if tip or ring is the open or the closed connection.
Yeah. And honestly, for a straight key, it doesn't matter. It's it'll go the same direction.
And actually, you could wire it up, either direction. And if it's wrong, most radios in their setup, you can switch that open and that closed connection, depending on the transceiver. But most will let you do that. The modern ones will. I actually got a key plug in the front and in the back, and because I was setting the key up, I was reading, and with the FT-DX3000, I can configure, say, the front panel key jack for a straight key and then the back one for paddles, so I can have two wired up at the same, two different styles connected at the same time, and I don't have to worry about switching anything. So,
I've known
which is a
amps that
little
actually do
tricky.
that. I've heard of a couple guys that can actually work two separate keys at the same time. So
Yeah.
if they have two VFOs, they could be going back and forth at the same time.
That's way above what I can do. But
Me too. Now, Michael, I mean, I'm a no code ham. I fair admit, you know, in the interest of being open, no code ham. You are not. You had to do 5 words a minute.
Correct. Yeah, when I got my license, I took 3 tests. I took the novice exam. It was in 1999, and you could get your no-code technician license in 99, but I wanted to go the next step and have the Technician Plus license, which got you onto the HF bands, 10 meters and things like that. So I took the novice exam, I took the technician exam, and I took the 5 word a minute code test, and barely passed the code test. I wasn't able to copy 60 seconds continuous, but you could answer, if you answered, they had 10 questions, and if you got at least six of them right, that was enough for comprehension. And the guy looks at my answer sheet and he says, "I have no idea how you answered those questions, but you passed." So it's
there you go. I guess probably when we're speaking about testing and licenses, there's an elephant in the room.
Oh, there certainly is.
The $35 elephant.
Yep. And the FCC just announced at the end of last year that the ARRL writes, let me see if I should have, in a report and order released on December 29, the FCC scaled back to a $35 fee for a new license application, a special temporary authority request, a rule waiver request, a license renewal, and a vanity call sign applications. All fees are per application. There will be no fee for administrative updates, such as a change of mailing or email address. So what does that mean to us hams? Well, when you take a test, you're going to pay your $15 testing fee and a $35 application fee. If you're going to renew your license, you're going to pay a $35 application fee. If you're going to apply for a vanity call sign, we're going to pay $35, but it's good. You know, your license is good for 10 years, so it's good for 10 years.
I am going to take a different stance on this. And based on what everyone says on the interwebs, I know where everyone else is at. I'm going to say this. If you want to charge $35, fine. Then the license is for life. Forget this renewal stuff. You know what I'm saying?
I know exactly what you're saying. There's other countries that do lifetime licensing, and I think that would have been a, excellent compromise. We pay the fee, and then your license is for life, and then pay the fee for the upgrades and vanity, and be done with it. But every 10 years.
Yeah, the whole 10 years things. I'm sorry, but nowadays you can update your address online. You can update anything else you need to online. The only thing the FCC really needs to know is when you're dead.
Yeah.
So $35, it's for life. Upgrades, fine, it's free. Because really, what additional information is the FCC doing other than saying, "Oh, the VEC has approved it"? They just process it, and it's a batch file. So, I'm stay out of politics here, but the FCC commissioners are turning over this year. This may be a good time for the FCC to say, not sorry, the FCC, but the ARRL to lobby to say, let's do licenses for life and just be done with it.
Yeah. Well, and I can't believe that. I mean, it's this is in a sense a regulatory fee. So we're supposed to be paying the cost of what it is to run whatever through through the database, the licensing system. And I find it hard to believe that it only costs them $35 to manage our information. I would think that it would be, it's the amount of, like you said, it was a batch file, but the amount of time, effort and time it takes could be a lot. It could cost a lot more than that. So,
yeah. James F. Pop says that a pilot's license for life. And that brings up another good point.
yeah.
If you get a commercial license, a GROL, General Radio Telephone Operator's License,
Yep.
that's for life.
Yep.
So, if you get the radar endorsement, that's for life. So why is a amateur radio license not for life?
It's a good question. That's a very good question. The only downside I see about that is, what would happen if people get their licenses and it falls fallow. They don't use it at all. It's eventually that call sign could be recovered and reassigned, but how would you manage that if there's no way of expiring that call sign?
Well, look at the current progression of licenses right now. So I'm KD9 CGX, and I've been doing testing VE sessions for 5 years now. And I think we're in the KDQ.
In the 9 region.
Halfway through the alphabet on the suffixes under the D.
Yeah.
We're not going to run out of call signs anytime soon of the 2x3.
No.
And I don't think we're going to do that at any call district for a long time. And realistically, the other call signs, the 2x2s, 2x1s, and everything, those are almost already taken up.
Yep.
There's very few left of those. So I think that it's probably time for the FCC to reconsider how things are done. I don't know if there's any international regulations that dictate that, but for the FCC to keep doing this 10-year thing and then still keep charging $35, it's baloney.
Well, other countries have lifetime licenses. I can't think of any off the top of my head, but I know there are countries with a lifetime license. The 4 call sign district, they're up to the P's though. I think they're running through them pretty quick. Let's see. Yeah, Dave says, well, the $35 fee might reduce the bogus filing of repetitive vanity call applications. Yeah, it could happen.
Yeah, and I'm not in disagreement with that.
Yep.
I think if you want a vanity call sign, cough up $35.
Yeah,
I've seen some people that basically are changing call signs like on a monthly, every couple months basis. They're just changing call signs. It's kind of sketchy.
Yeah. The only way to handle lifetime would be to pay the fee, and then when you get your license and free renewals, so people that lose interest or go silent can be removed. That would be a good compromise. It's renewal because
I think so, because realistically, all you're doing to renew it now is going online.
It's the same as an address change. So you're just reaffirming, that you want your license for another period of time. So
you're clicking on a couple buttons to show that you are alive.
Yep.
Really is what it is. I can't imagine at the cost of the FCC $35. But this is the same government organization that about a year ago or a couple of years ago said that GMRS license, it costs more to process the $70 license fee than what people were actually paying.
So, yeah, exactly. So it's all about the money, I guess. But All right. Let's move on. Oh, here we go. I knew it. Lifetime license in Canada. So it was about $25 a year, still cheap compared to the price of an HFX, so I didn't worry about it. So so I knew that was going to happen. New Year's, let's talk a little bit about New Year's resolutions. You know, I did mention that I'm working on my Morse code. So, Joe, you got any big resolutions coming up for 2021?
Be very, very quiet. I'm hunting gigahertz.
I thought that was a weenie roaster.
It will do that too, but I got to get an amplifier, probably about 50 watts, and then I'll cook whatever you want. How do you want your steak at 50 watts? But no, it's so this over here is a Directive Systems and Engineering 60 centimeter dish with a 10 gigahertz feed horn.
Hey.
And maybe I'll just there we go.
Look at that.
So this is step one in getting into the microwave bands. Step two is the expensive part. This was not cheap. I will say that. But the expensive part is next getting a transverter. So I'm I got a special dispensation from the family chief financial officer. And either end of this month, beginning of next month, I will be ordering a 10 gigahertz transverter.
Ooh.
And a couple of things, and thus will begin my path to the dark side.
Well, there you go. The dark arts of ham radio.
This is interesting. So, a friend of ours, I've been talking to him a lot, and the first thing he said is, "Well, you should buy two." I said, "Why should I buy two?" He said, "So you could actually talk to someone."
Somebody.
And I said, "I don't want to talk to people. I just want to build it and find out that it works." But realistically, for 10 gigahertz, the microwave stuff, above 1.2 gigs, a lot of this is contesting, it's roving, it's setting up a portable station with scheduled contacts, or working rain scatter when the situation provides itself. So it's really different than, say, just getting on 20 meters and calling CQ. You got to plan for it. You got to know what you're aiming for. But the contest community around this is a very tight-knit group, and it can be a lot of fun. And all
right,
as Michael has done, he does a lot of traveling for Parks in the Air. This is a lot like Parks in the Air. Yeah. You're getting out. The nice thing about where we're at is that we're not very far from the two biggest Great Lakes, Michigan and Superior. And there's a lot of microwave activity on contest weekends over the lakes. So that's the goal.
That entire Niagara escarpment is sort of like a breeding ground for microwave enthusiasts. I know, especially along where it comes up along Lake Huron into Ontario. So it's the Great Lakes area. It's a nice big flat body of water, and there's people on the other side, especially if you're talking about the Wisconsin, Michigan side. So it's that's gonna be fun. Might have to follow you along when you actually get that thing on the air.
Well, there's going to be a couple of videos. I'll do a couple breakdown videos of the equipment and putting together. And then the first time we get it on, of course, I'll give you a call and we'll go do a little sightseeing. Pack up the teardrop. Everyone loves your teardrop.
There you go. Yeah, we'll make it a weekend.
I'm not your teardrop, by the way. I don't operate that way.
You don't know what you're missing.
Christine's told me enough. I know what I'm missing.
There you go. Okay, I'd like to thank Bill for your donation this evening. It's greatly appreciated. So thank you very much. I'm glad you're enjoying the show tonight. And with that, I think this is a good time to kind of talk about, just to remind everybody that if you want to support the channel, you can support it on Patreon. And I'd like to welcome some of our new patrons that came on board the month of December. Of course, our associate producer level, which is the highest level, the two Pauls, I thank them for their continued support of the channel. But then we also picked up this last month, George Wood and Dave White. So thank you to the both of them. It's nice for you to help out the channel and keep the mission alive of educating and inspiring the amateur radio community. And with that, you can find us over on patreon.com/KB9VBR antennas.
And I keep telling people, eventually, this dungeon, there will be a video on it. I guarantee it. There's stuff out here you guys don't even know about yet. Just in my little corner. I'm not talking about the laundry room over there, or where the treadmill that we've had for 10 years, it gets used once a year. No. The actual shack. We'll do a video on that.
Hey, I might even swivel the camera a little bit that direction. I'm backwards here, and you might see the big mess that only a privileged few have been.
No. Let's not go that far. This is a family show.
It is a family show. It is absolutely right. So, got a question on the channel the other day. Chris asked, when I transmit on 1.25 meters, that would be the 220 megahertz band or 222 megahertz band, it interferes with the TV my wife is watching upstairs. What do I need to resolve this problem? So far, no complaints from the neighbors, but maybe they have not associated it with me. So I asked him a little bit, just to give me a little bit more background information on if it's broadcast or cable, power levels or things like that. So it's broadcast. He responded, it's broadcast TV, and it happens at all power levels. He's using an Alinco 235. That would be a mobile transceiver. So I think that one goes up to 35 or 40 watts. I have 3 ferrite beads on the coax near the antenna. So it's using one of my J-pole antennas. By the way, not that is the problem. And then when you say the power cord, do you mean the power cord of the TV? Or would you need to be near or do I need ferrite beads on the receive antenna, near the antenna, or on the TV? So this is, and we kind of mulled this one over. I was talking to Joe a little bit. This is a really interesting kind of problem. And I don't know if there's so we were thinking of, first off, harmonics, right? Mm-hmm. Maybe the second harmonic or the third harmonic. So I looked at the frequencies for digital television, and nothing lines up. If you're the second harmonic on at say 222 megahertz would be 444, and that's outside of the DTV band, and
so the
third harmonic would be like 667 megahertz, and so that. And that actually lines up with the television channel, but those channels have been refarmed. That's not, what did you say? Something, channels above 36 aren't no longer used. So
right, with the television repack in the past 18 months, there are no TV stations above channel 36 transmitting on the actual channel. They may be remapped to channels above 36, but their frequencies are below, which is like 600 megahertz. So anything above 600 megahertz is pretty much now gone. Yeah. And that's going to go to your 5G broadcasters or 5G cell companies. That's what their intention is to make that for data. So all that is gone. Goodbye. Locally, we had a 55 channel here. I know down south of us there's a 47. So some way up in the UHF spectrum, and those are all repacked into the VHF and lower UHF bands. And as of right now, everyone is pretty happy. In fact, the FCC paid some of those TV stations a very hefty amount to move their frequencies or to take their licenses back. and now they're asking us for $35. I wonder why. Some of those TV stations got a couple $100 million to go off the air. I'm going to tell you that right now.
Oh, sure. Yeah. So first off, I'd say, ferrites on the power cord of the TV. If it's a power related issue, ferrites on the coax going into the TV. So that would be on the TV end. You could probably put some more ferrites on the antenna side of that cable coax. I don't know if since it's getting into the television, I would probably say it's going to have to go on the on the side, neck closest to the input to the television. Otherwise, it's not going to do a whole lot of good.
Also, they make 75 ohm polyphasers.
Yeah.
You could consider putting a polyphaser close to the TV and grounding the incoming feed as well, with some ferrites or chokes, to get rid of as much RF that's coming in as possible. Because what's happening is RF is getting into the TV itself, either through the TV antenna or somewhere else.
Or some other means.
It could be through the wiring in the house, honestly. So if you can put a choke on the power cord, that may not be a bad idea either.
Yep. So,
or just do what I did and just wrap the whole DirecTV receiver in tinfoil.
There you go.
It worked for 40 meters. Can't be wrong.
And another, the reason Chris asked this question is he was originally speculating if maybe a low pass filter would help, and technically a low pass wouldn't, because like I said, the TV channels they're like sandwiched all over the place, between 50 megahertz up to whatever, 600 megahertz. So it's maybe like a notch filter or something like that, that you could,
I'm looking around. I don't have my, I have a couple of old TV interference, low pass filters. Yeah. So those are generally made for HF, because they will reject frequencies over 30 megahertz.
Yep.
And right away, but that goes on the radio side. It doesn't go on the TV side.
Yep.
So if you were to put that on your feed to your antenna for your radio, it would kill your signal at 222 megahertz. Under no circumstances, use one of those big brick TVI low pass filters, because it'll only ruin your 220 experience. By the way, thank you for using 220, because not many people do. So thank you.
That's right. So Steve says, are the antennas on the same mast? And that could be a culprit too. If the two are if the receive antenna is too close to the 220 J-pole antenna, because those television receive antennas are really broadbanded. They're picking up, they're log periodic style. They're picking up a wide range of signals. So
those antennas are made to pick up signals between 50 megahertz and 700 megahertz.
Yep.
So 220 is right smack dab in the middle. So if they're close, move them.
That would be another option too. Try relocating the television antenna, see if that does it. If you're using an outdoor antenna. If you're using an indoor antenna, then maybe not so much the case. But yeah, I'd be at a loss there. But so hopefully you find the culprit, and we can let us know, because I'd love to find out how you got that one solved. So, okay, Greeper, or is it G Reaper? Wouldn't it be a good idea to use dielectric grease on coax? Would it hurt? Okay, Mr. Electrician.
No. So dielectric grease is generally made for making sure that you don't have any sort of oxidation or rust, for lack of a better term, between two dissimilar metals. Okay, when we are using 239s or BNCs or N connectors, they're all the same or similar metals, so there should not be any sort of oxidization. The best practice is for outdoor connections is to seal them, usually with the coax sealing, which is like a plastic tar paper almost, a sheet, or you can use tape. I think, was it last month we talked about, maybe it was on a different forum that we talked about what to use for sealing your coax connections. And you want to keep the water out. It's not an oxidization issue. It's water getting in there. That's the worst thing ever. So a dielectric grease probably isn't going to be your best bet. Spend your money on getting some good tape or a good sealing product for a coax connection. And it's not like you're spending a lot of money. You're spending $10 maybe on a roll of good tape that will last you a long time.
The good tape.
Like
Super 33.
Yep. I love the smell of 33 in the morning. I do.
Oh, hey. Well, yeah, that's volatile.
don't get the cheap stuff. Get 33. You know, okay, that's a good video topic.
It is.
We're going to hit that someday.
We talked about that. Didn't we talk about tape a couple years ago for at Winter Field Day?
Winter Field Day, I think it was, definitely.
Yeah. But
then again, we were talking about that because I was taping a string to a rock.
Yeah.
And we were doing things that aren't necessarily kosher. Is that the word I'm looking for?
Yeah. There you go.
Which, by the way, Winter Field Day is coming up.
It is coming up.
More.
We're gonna get to Winter Field Day in a second. I just saw here that Chris popped in. Oops, that's Claude. Thanks, Claude. Chris, sorry I'm late. I'm the one who asked about the pass filter for 220 megahertz, and you'll have to replay the video to see what we thought. But our big question would be the antenna. Is the J-pole on the same mast or close to the television antenna? If they are, you might want to try respacing them or something like that, because that might be where the 220 signals it's just overloading the television antenna.
Do not, and I repeat, do not interfere with the wife's NCIS.
No.
That is grounds for divorce, I have been told by my wife.
Way back in the day when we had analog television, I would get on 40 meters and it would just bleed all over the television and the cordless phone. And once my wife was talking to her mother and I got on 40 meters and was like, and she thought it was the voice of the devil. So,
well, she wasn't wrong.
It was just her son-in-law.
Right. She still thinks you're the devil.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to get into Winter Field Day in a second, but first Kevin asked, does LMR 400 make that much difference on HF feed line? No, it doesn't.
On HF?
No. You can use it, but really anything below 30 megahertz, unless you've got an extraordinarily long feed line run, 8U or RG213 is plenty. And in fact, for a lot of applications, I'll use RG8X for HF stuff.
I use 8X a lot around the house, and my go bag is full of 8X. It's cheap, it's flexible. If something happens to it on a POTA activation, you don't really care about it because $20 you can get another 50 feet.
That's right.
You know, it's pretty. You can use RG58 if you really want to, because the losses on 58 aren't that much greater than 8X.
No, they're not.
If you're doing VHF 2 meter 440, and then getting LMR is a really good idea. But for anything under 30 megahertz, use it. Heck, like we've talked about, you did a video a while back. You can use 75 ohm RG59 if you really want to.
Yep.
The losses are a little worse because it's 75 ohm, but go use it. It will work. It will definitely work. But yeah, for HF, LMR, unless you're doing something specific or you are doing something where you really need to keep your losses down to a minimum, it's not worth it. It's just a lot more money.
Yeah.
Don't use Heliax or Hardline either for HF because it's just a waste of money.
Yep. So yeah, in fact, it's I think I got a piece of LMR on an HF antenna, but that's because I had LMR handy. But
right,
it's
if someone hands you 50 feet of it, use it.
Use it. But yeah, when I'm out portable, it's 8X, and I got short pieces. I got like 25 feet chunks of 8X, and I'll string them together with barrel connectors, and if I need to, because it doesn't really matter for HF. It really doesn't matter.
No, it does not.
So, okay, let's talk a little bit about Winter Field Day. Is there any... Are people participating?
Beer break.
Beer break. Winter Field Day this year is January 30th and 31st. So it's, I don't know is it always like, must be the fourth weekend or the last weekend of January, but
it is either the fourth weekend or the last weekend.
Yeah, but like which is the 30th and the 31st, Saturday, Sunday.
Yes.
And
always the weekend after my birthday weekend, as I like to say. But so this will be what, the fourth or fifth year we've done it together?
I think so. Well, the third or fourth, at least the fourth.
At least four. It's a little hazy there.
Well, the first one was a hunting. Yeah, it was a hunting shack that was very primitive.
Right. Well, it's not. We're not talking like where we're at now is great either in terms of primitiveness, but.
Well, the current shack we go to, there's actually insulation in the walls, so the wind doesn't blow through the building.
Well, no, it's just a log cabin. There's no insulation. But the little fireplace that we get going there, it gets about 85 degrees.
Yeah.
Which gets back to the previous comment earlier. I'd rather be too cold than too hot. What happens at Winter Field Day stays at Winter Field Day.
Oh yeah. So hopefully, well, COVID permitting, we're planning on doing something.
Yep. You stay on your end of the shack, I'll stay on mine.
There we go. We'll maintain that social distance and 6 beer cans apart.
6? That's on a normal day with you.
Let's see. Yeah, K8 MRD Winter Field Day in the heat is going to be nice.
Not really. It's not. It's not a real Winter Field Day. K8 MRD. It really ain't. It ain't a winter. You know what? An antenna does not work unless you put it up in the middle of January at 30 below and 3 feet of snow. Did you know that?
That's right.
That's right. The exam.
It's got to be your fingers have to be white.
Yes. Well, white, purplish black is what you really want to aim for.
Well, you don't want to be totally frostbitten, but you gotta have no feeling. So
what are you talking about? I still got 4 of my 5 fingers. Jason's got a good question there.
Maybe Christian will make that. There you go. Yeah,
he wanted to come up this year, but I think with the whole COVID thing, and I agree with him.
All right. So Jason asks, what would you suggest for someone who wants to get into the hobby? So
find someone who has the same mental defect as you do. That's how me and Michael got together.
There we go.
But no, realistically, find some friends. Go to a club meeting and say what you want about clubs, but find some people who are into it and that you get along with.
Yeah.
You are doing stuff on your own in your basement alone, and you don't have anyone to talk to. It's not very fun. But if you can find some people that you enjoy talking to that are friendly, and
Mhm.
you get into this, well, then that's the rabbit hole.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And it's clubs are really hard right now. With COVID, it'll start loosening up. As we move forward with the vaccinations. But yeah, I think that's almost like the magic key in getting involved with amateur radio is to find like-minded people and work with them and help let them help you bring yourself forward in with the with the program, getting learning, getting the test and exploring. It's
Mm-hmm.
I would totally agree with that. So
And friends lend you gear.
they do.
So this guy I know that will remain nameless. So he lent me a Radio Shack HTX 10.
Yep.
I think I drove around that thing for a year in my car trying to make 10-meter contacts on it. I made a few. I had a CB whip that we trimmed down for 10 meters.
Mhm.
And, I had to go to a different guy's house to get an analyzer to trim that down.
Yep.
And we did it out on the street. He had a little grinder, and because it was a stainless steel whip, you got to like grind it off slowly. And then I had to call a different person who had a mount to put it in the car. So now that's 3 friends that you need. But eventually I had it up and running. So the thing of it is that you got to find some other people close by that you can really get into with. And that's how I eventually, start buying dishes.
End up with a dish.
And a credit card balance. I didn't have a credit card balance until I met Michael.
Oh, come on. And I think I've gotten rid of more antennas than I've to new hams and whatnot. I used to have a whole bunch of like ham sticks, and they all disappeared, and so yeah, that stuff happens. But it gets people on the air, and that's
the fun part is helping other people out too. It's like once you've gotten you've gotten your general, you've gotten some experience, and you get to help other people, and then that's real fun. Then you get to spread the disease.
Yep.
Not the COVID disease, just the ham disease.
It's more of a dysfunction than a disease.
It's a syndrome.
All right. Clay asks, when using the Wolf River coil, how far do you suggest the radio will be away from the antenna? Do I need 50 feet of coax to the radio, or 25 be enough? 25 is fine.
Yeah.
I use one 25-foot piece from the radio to the antenna, and that's fine. You don't have to be further than that. You can be. I mean, if you really wanted to be, maybe if you were in a spot where you had a hard time, if you wanted to work out of your car and you wanted to set the coil up so they had a lot of ground radios, then 50 feet might be fine, but 25 is sufficient. So
yeah, if you can get a little height with 50 feet, something to consider within the antenna, really. But those base loaded coil antennas, you can get about 5-10 feet off the ground with them, like with a little pole, like a painter's pole or something. Not real high, but just a little bit off the ground. That works wonders. Really does.
Yep. So, all right. And then, talking about, we were talking about new hams. I got a question online. Alan asked, would you recommend the FT891 for a first HF rig? So I thought that'd be good for us to kind of talk a little bit about what would be a good first HF radio. So, and I'll start out with what my first HF rig was, and I'll let Joe tell everybody what his is, and then we'll kind of go from there. But when I got licensed way back in '99, well, I had the little HTX 10, but then after a period of time, after I got my general, I decided to invest in an HF transceiver, and then I purchased a brand spanking new ICOM IC718. And it was a nice radio. I had that radio.
Just got rid of last year.
I had it for like 16. I used it for like 16 years, and it's a good, solid performer. Just a basic rig with a hot receive and an excellent transmit, and it served me fine. But you do get to a point in time where a basic radio, you feel a little bit limited and you want to kind of stretch out more. So I think it was 2 years ago, I purchased the FT891, and I had that on my desk for about a year, and I also took it out portable. And then, this last year, I got the FT3000 because I got tired of hooking up and unhooking radios. So, long story short, the 891 makes a good, that makes a good, it can make a good portable or good first HF rig. Only downside with it is that everything is hidden in menus, and it's got a little bit more features in it, but it will serve you well as a first rig. So, Joe, why don't you tell us what your first one is?
Oh boy,
because yours is a little bit
boys and girls. So when I got my General, and I wanted a HF rig, and at the time, I didn't have a lot of money to spend on an HF rig. So I went on Craigslist, because before Facebook Marketplace, we had Craigslist. And I drove 3 hours one way, and I bought a Kenwood TS520. And some people may be asking, well, what's a 520? I don't see that on their list. Well, it hasn't been made in 40 years.
Yeah.
It was a hybrid. So it's a solid state radio with tube finals and a tube exciter. So they are built like a tank.
They weigh like a tank.
Well, that is true. Any of those Kenwood 500, like the 520, 530, and like the 820 and 830, they're about 40 years vintage. They are built like a tank, not like a old Helicopters tank, but they're built like a tank. And the nice thing about them is you probably aren't going to kill it.
No.
So as a new General, if you're going to buy an HF rig and you see a TS520 or a 530 or one of the variants, and the price is right and it's in decent condition, grab it, because you will learn a heck of a lot, because you do actually have to tune the finals like you would like an old tube radio, but they are solid. They are very solid radio, and even today, 40 years later, they're going to work great. But I outgrew it after a while. And I bought an 891. I do have an 891. It actually sits in my car. It's my mobile rig now, but I had that on the bench or in the shack. I've had it portable. It was a portable rig for a while. It's a great radio. Like you said, it's menu driven.
Yeah.
So you have to kind of learn that there's not a lot of buttons to push. It's a lot of going, turn a knob, turn a knob. And that's a little different. But like I said, we both used it portable, and they're perfectly fine. It's a nice, decent receive. It's got some DSP involved with it. So for what they're running, the street price is like $600.
Between $600 and $650, give or take. I'm not sure what the exact amount is, but it's it's a good deal. And I think it's, if you ever have an inkling that you want to go portable, it's then go with the 891 route. The only downside with the 891 is that it does not have a built-in tuner. So you'll have to think about getting an external tuner of some sort, unless you're going to be using resonant antennas. And I know a lot of people, when they're starting out in HF, like to use something like an end-fed half wave or a off-center fed dipole. And while those can be, if you're lucky, you can get them resonant. A lot of times you need a tuner to kind of knock the edges off of them. But so keep that in mind. If you're investing in an 891, you're going to need either a good manual tuner or an auto tuner. And I actually recommend a manual tuner starting out anyway. It's
a manual tuner, unless you're using one of those old tube rigs. If it's got two finals, don't really mess around with a manual tuner unless you got some exotic antennas, because the finals in those old tube transceivers, you can really tune that out back there. Just amazing. And a couple comments. If you can't find a TS520, a Yaesu FT101 or one of the variants of those as well, they use the same tunes for the finals, the 6146. They are just, like I said, you could put a bullet through them and you can still probably get up on 40 meters. I'll just say that way.
That's the nice thing about it with the tube final, rig is that final, it's as it goes to the antenna, that those tubes are in a pi network, so that acts like a tuner, an antenna tuner. It, if your antenna is not resonant, you can fix that at the rig as you're tweaking the finals. So
absolutely.
Let's see a couple others. I just want to kind of
we'll say thank you to Bill.
Yep. So talk to Bill. Thank you very much for your contributions. Greatly appreciated. First radios, taking a text, thinking of an FT 991 of our first radio. 991 is great. That's like the next step up. They call that the shack in a box because it does DC to daylight and
C4 FM
and C4, built-in system fusion. So it's a very nice radio. And
it is. Now, one thing to consider, you're about to take your tech exam. Just remember, don't paint yourself in a box. Explore all your options in amateur radio. What I was into 5 years ago, what I thought I was going to get into, totally different. I could care less about some of those things right now. So just think about it before you drop $1,200 out of 991A and have it delivered to Michael's house.
It's a good radio. It's a very
good radio. Don't get me wrong; it's a very good radio. But don't paint yourself into a box where I'm going to go do this as soon as I get my license, because you're going to grow and evolve as an amateur radio operator, and what you want to do now is going to be different from what you want to do 5 years from now. Guarantee it. So play the field. If you're a single guy, you play the field. If you're a new ham radio operator, play the field. Get a decent little HT. Get on the repeaters. Play around. Play with packets. Because playing with packet, even though a lot of people don't do packet, it teaches you a lot of things about how getting stuff to work together. Meet some people. Experiment. And then when you're ready to drop $1,200-$1,500 on a real nice radio, you have an idea what you want to do, and then that $1,200 or $1,500 is not going to be a paperweight next year on your table when you're kind of out of it. So
there you go. So, and it's a couple other first radios. Steve's got the FT450D. Unfortunately, they just discontinued the 450D, but that's a beautiful first timers rig. And if I was starting out, and I was the 450 was available to me, I would have picked that up over the 718. Marty got tired of his 891, taking it out of the car, so he bought a second one. They're nice radios. I got tired of I got tired of unplugging mine on the desk, so I bought a 3000. My first is Yaesu FT920, still using it. That's good. That's another discontinued.
The 920 is a great radio. Yaesu has built some radios that just stand the test of time. The 101 series, now the FTDX series, some of the 900 series, 920, 940, the 950. The 897. The 897 is like literally, it's built like a military radio. You could throw that off a cliff, still work.
Let's see. FT 301 AD.
301. See, the 101s, 201s, 301s, they had a whole series of them. Most of them were still tube finals until the final ones, but they were great. The 201s, 301s, I think have digital displays too. They don't have analog dials. So if you don't want to mess around with analog, those 201s, 301s may be something to look for.
Yeah. And Todd's dreaming of the 7300, which is beautiful. It's a beautiful radio. It's good price too, actually. It's yeah. All right, so we're getting close. We've hit the 8 o'clock mark, so I think we'll kind of wrap things up and just sort of final thoughts. Upcoming videos, like I said, we're going to have we got Winter Field Day coming up the end of the month, so
there'll be a February video on that.
Yeah, something in February.
We're going to blow stuff up.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we got some. Joe's been playing around with some. I don't know. Do I want to let the cat out of the bag and just, or should I say
that it's a high voltage source that we all have in our kitchen? And a couple of the infamous Harbor Freight multimeters.
No animals will be harmed in the production of that video.
Oh, there's no guarantee of that. It's going to be a warm day outside, and the squirrels are going to be out.
There we go. It's going to be 30 degrees this weekend. I'm heading out. I'm going to do a Parks on the Air activation on Saturday morning. Hopefully all goes well. Christian invited me onto his show because he's talking about Winter Field Day. So we're going to try live streaming it, or at least a portion of it. We'll see what happens. Yep. So listen for me on the air.
10 a.m. Central, right? Yeah.
10:30. Yeah, it'll probably be. I think that's going to be on his 100 watts on a wire. I'll pull up the. I think I still got the. Yeah, his Saturday morning live stream. And it'll be in the on the 10 o'clock hour, most likely at around 20 or 10:30 or so. By the time I'm going to be over at Rib Mountain State Park. So by the time I get up to the park, find a parking spot, and go from there. But so look for that. We got a couple from Joe. I got a couple others that I'm working on, and then we're in February. This month is moving fast. It really is. We've already got a week in, and it just doesn't feel like it yet, does it?
Still writing 2020 on my checks. Oh, do I still write checks?
I write checks.
Once in a while, I got to write them for my union dues. That's really, so like my checkbook is like union dues, it used to be union dues and daycare. But now that my youngest is 11 and out of daycare, it's like, oh my God, there's more money. I can spend on more radios.
That was a sink. So, Todd says you have a great evening. Wish you the best. Looking forward to the 100 watts on the wire. And Christian gives us his thanks too. So
Todd's got a 100 watts on wire number.
Yeah, number 4,700. So
mine's 505. How long have you been listening to that podcast?
You're an early adopter. I'm in the 4,000s, but I think it's like 46 or 43 or something. 4,300.
See, a 3-digit one's real hard to come by nowadays. If you pay me enough, I might give you mine. If you pay Christian enough, he might give you mine too. There's one question there from David. Let's hit that real quick.
I was going to pop this one up before we sign off. I want to take the technician exam, but I downloaded the app Ham Study. There are more than 100 questions. Is that normal, or just need to study a specific section?
Well, the pool is over 350 questions, I think, for the technician. Now, don't freak out. They spread it out. And I always say, if math is your hard part, don't freak out, because you can get all the math problems wrong and still pass. The Ham Study, there's a couple of other apps. I also would recommend either the ARRL book or the Gordon West book. Yeah. Between the apps and one of those two books, you should be set. And after about a month of studying, you can probably walk in and get a pretty good score. That's what I'm going to say. Yep. It also helps to get a mentor or an Elmer, but between the books and the app, I got my extra. So
yeah, and you know, there's the question pool's got what 350, 400 questions in it, but the test will only have 35. So it's they pick a question here, a question there, a question there, and to formulate the test. So it's not like you need to know all of the questions and all of the answers, but you need to be familiar with or understand the material so that when you see the questions on the actual exam, you can, you know, you've got that level of comprehension. Oh yeah, this makes sense, you know, and then you can pick the correct answer.
you can at least eliminate 2 questions right off the bat.
Mm-hmm. And some of them will actually be doubles, you know, not necessarily doubles, but it's question A, you know, question B might be a rephrasing of question A. So it's so if you understand question A, you might also understand question B. But with that, I think we will probably put the wraps on it for this month, and hope to see everybody next month. It's been had a great crowd tonight, and thank you for all of these questions, and thanks for all of the donations this evening. We really appreciate that. And
come back in February, because we'll talk about Winter Field Day, and if there's any snowshoe grog left from, you know, the guy over here. This guy here. If anyone's in Wisconsin know what snowshoe grog is.
Mm.
But yeah, we'll have a couple good stories, and maybe we'll share a video that doesn't make the actual
there we go, behind the scenes or something like that. We can
you don't have to be on Patreon for that one. It just might be funny to watch.
All right, so
Michael and the Snowbake.
Yeah, that's it for this month. I'm Michael, KV9VBR.
And I'm Joe, KD9CJX.
Thanks for joining us, and 73.
73.